Hey guys, how are y'all doing today? It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today I have a very esteemed guest, DJ Richie Sky. How are you? I'm so happy to see you. You look great. I'm just so thrilled that you're here.
I am good. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for extending the invite. What 2 months ago at this point now, and we're finally getting to do it. So I'm happy. I'm happy to be here.
Yay, we're happy to have you here. I can't wait. This has been, we collabed on your channel last year. That was, I had the best time. So I'm just so happy that you're here. We see each other all the time, like at Bravo events, and it's like we have to do this, we got to do this. So I'm just like, yay! But you know that I cannot wait to pick your brain. I want to hear all the tea. What do you think about all the franchises going on? We have a lot. There's a lot going on in the Bravo
There
universe.
is. There is. After a drought this summer,
Yes,
they
yes.
are giving it to us. They are making us work.
Yes, they are around the clock. So let's start it off with Sundays. We have Real Housewives of Potomac.
Mm, mm, mm,
So yeah, this
mm.
season, this season, we see everybody for the most part is getting along. Wendy and Giselle have put their feud to bed. We didn't really see the
Look.
conversation. Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, but they've resolved their issues, even though we were cheated out of the whole conversation. We
You
didn't see
are.
a lot. I What do you feel about the peace in Potomac? Do you think that it's going to remain peaceful if this cast is brought back for season 10?
I think that at some point, someone probably had a good sitting down and talking to with this cast
Mhm.
and told them that this is how we're going to operate moving forward and you need to get on board with it. And to a certain degree, I'm happy about that because the divided cast, it didn't feel fun. And it's unfortunate for me that I felt like we lost a bit of the comedic element with Candace
Yeah.
in that whole situation. But I also understand too, you know, her having a baby, that to me trumps the drama of what it would have probably taken to do this show. And I'm glad she got to have that moment to herself. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but in terms of getting back to like, the what we see here, I think that they'll still be able to kind of like proceed because you saw how quickly Giselle got over that whole situation with Mia. Although in the back of my mind, I'm like, she ain't let that go. She ain't let that go. It's she holding on to it, but not to the degree that she held on to what she thought that Wendy even made a face about her daughters. You know what I'm saying? But Wendy ain't forgot about that either. So I think we're seeing some real, but I think we're also seeing some y'all if y'all want to get paid, y'all better, you're gonna have to keep making this train move.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, you made a great point about, holding on to things with Giselle and Mia and Wendy. Do you think so? A critique that a lot of my subscribers have of Wendy, and sometimes I've shared the same sentiment too. I love Wendy down, but
Mhm.
I feel sometimes that she, I don't want to say too nice, but I do feel like I understand that you're on the show, so you have to move the train along, like you said. But I do feel like she lets the women, I guess, play in her face sometimes because, she was so forgiving of how Mia assaulted her season 7. Giselle doing what she did, the rumors about her husband. And then we find out that Karen was talking about her, which we already knew that. Season 5, Karen could not stand Wendy, right? So when it was revealed by Stacy in this finale episode that Karen had been talking about her, saying, "Oh, she's so self-absorbed," all this stuff, and Wendy said, "Well, I already knew that. That's no surprise to me." Do you feel like Wendy is too nice, or do you feel like she wants to be in with the cool girls, or do you feel like it's strategic and she just knows how to go along to get her check, or is it a mix of both?
I think that Wendy has learned how to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Wendy is also listen, here's the thing about Wendy. Dr. Wendy has everything going for her.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like she is the person who has, even though the network, I think, places a lot of emphasis on Giselle and Ashley, I think that Dr. Wendy has been the person who has made the most out of this
Mhm.
whole housewives thing. Because
Yes.
you see her on the cover of these magazines,
Mhm.
she's at the White House, she's doing all the things, she has Happy Eddie, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Despite whatever they threw at her, she stood tall and she stood, it's kind of like I don't have to be bothered to get into the minutia with you guys because I'm happy.
Mhm.
That's what it gives to me. That's kind of how I perceive her. So I almost perceive her as, to me, if I had to give a person an MVP of the season, it would be her because I feel like she is the example that we want our housewives to be. Shady, you know what I'm saying? She's given us extravagant parties.
Mhm.
She's got the kids and the career that she's managed to swerve in a lot of different directions, but she also brings some tea when necessary. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like the last piece of the puzzle is also that ability to to keep the story moving.
True.
So I
True.
think that she's found a winning formula
Mhm.
for this particular franchise.
Yeah, and also I think who wants to be on an island by themselves every single season? I think
No.
that psychologically that's going to wear on even the strongest person.
Yeah.
Even if you are a fighter, like if you are somebody who is able to navigate where people don't like you, it's still going to drain on you. So you know what I'm saying?
She is the example of what a black person has to do in this country.
Mm, true.
If
True.
you think about it, the things that get thrown at us,
Yeah.
and we always, I feel like, have to just we gotta hold our head high. We got a standard that we gotta walk into. I feel
Mhm.
like that's what she is an example of. To be honest with you, now that I think about it, and I'm just having that realization as we're having this conversation, as you were talking, I was like, dang, this is sounding like a lot of what we all go through on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, yeah. That's true. You have to sort of make lemons out of lemonade.
Mhm.
You have to like build yourself up brick by brick, even when you have people coming against you and trying to break you down. Yeah, that is a good point. The similarities of what she goes through on the show to what a lot of us go through just in life in general. And
And
that's a good point.
and
Yeah.
still have to maintain a standard of excellence.
Yes, yes. That's so perfectly said. Yes. So
Mhm.
I'm like, you need to come on my channel more, Richie. I'm serious. Like that was so perfectly said. Like that was just perfection. Um, well now speaking of all the mess that's thrown at Wendy, we saw that she did have a peaceful season. She was friends with everybody. She was just, she was calm, cool, and collected. There was really no drama her way. Mia was at the forefront of all of it, and everybody was on her, rightfully so, with all these lies. Do you feel like Mia has a shot at coming back on this show, or do you think that this is her last season?
I think it depends on what she does at the reunion.
Mm-hmm.
You saw Andy, I think in the reunion clip, tell
Yep.
her it seemed like she was having a shame spiral.
Yep.
So I do think that he has a soft spot for her. And I think that if she goes into the reunion with some contrition, I think if she goes in with a willingness to explain the inexplicable, because there's certain things that we don't get.
No.
Um, I think if there's some like level of remorse shown, because we've seen it in the past when certain housewives have been confronted with these major, major issues and they kind of downplay it or double down, you typically don't see them return. Look at Dorinda. She's a prime example of someone who could have went into that season with Tinsley and
Yes.
really just said, you know what, I'm so sorry that I treated you this way. I feel like that's what everyone was looking for from her, and she didn't give it, right? I think you can go back to Phaedra. Perfect
Mhm.
example.
Mhm.
She was so stoic throughout that whole season 9 reunion, and it was almost like, girl, are you on Xanax?
Yeah.
You Andy is having a full-on meltdown over here. Portia's in here. Why is Sheree crying? But everybody is like upset, and you're just kind of like, so no, why would I? There's got to be a situation for where I think she comes not, I don't want to say comes clean, but that she just offers some level of introspection. I think that's what people are looking for from her.
I agree. Well, you know how when you read the descriptions for all the parts of the reunion, because they're getting 3 parts.
Yeah.
You see how on the 3rd part it says, a departure, an unexpected departure leaves the girls, like really surprised. And then the special guest, which we know is Eddie, who comes on. And when you see that part when Eddie's
That
there,
seat.
he's no longer there. He's in her seat. So I feel like, so we're going to be ending the part 2 with Mia gone. So my thing is, Andy does not take too kindly to people not showing up or leaving early unless it's a medical emergency or you're pregnant and about to have the baby. You can leave early then, but you can't just leave early because you're sad and they're beating up on you because you lied all season. So there's a part of me that feels
I
like,
didn't see that.
yes, and read the description for part 3. It says an unexpected departure leaves the ladies reeling. So, and
You just gave me some tea.
yes, yes, yes.
Ooh.
Yeah, if you
Okay.
can read all the descriptions for each part. So I think at the end of part 2, that's probably when Andy comes into her dressing room
Mhm.
and says, "You're
Mhm.
shame spiraling." She's probably gonna cry and then say, "You know what? Can I leave?" And that's when we don't see her that 3rd part. So we're gonna see Eddie come out with the tea that he has about Stacy and TJ, and so Mia's not there for that. When you go back and watch that part, she's
I
not there.
remember seeing her not there, and I'm thinking to myself, maybe did he just give her a minute? Did she have a Kim Zolciak? Remember that season Kim
I remember that.
Zolciak was on, and he had to go backstage and talk to
Yep.
her? I was like, was it like that? Like, what happened? So this is interesting to me because I had not seen the episode descriptions yet. So you just
Mhm.
you just gave me some homework, girl.
So I think if she shows contrition, but I don't think that she's going to, because that's just how Mia is. Mia is a liar. Mia is just incapable of telling the truth. She doesn't want to tell the truth. I think this might be her last season. I honestly do.
So let me say this,
Mhm,
I just I can't say that I know Mia to like the degree that I know my best friends, but
mhm,
I know Mia, like having met her before, and it's just surprising to me because the Mia that I've met and that I know that my friends know, um, is a this is a it's like a night and day version
mm,
to me. So it's hard for me to recap her. It's hard for me to recap the story, especially with the kids and stuff, because I don't want to like this is still a part of my friendship, my in real life. So
yeah.
it's so difficult because I'm like, all you have to do is be the Mia that I know, and people would have been entertained. But it got so I it just got so complex and even, like, dark at times that it just made it hard for, I think, all of us to connect. And then did we believe it all? Like, that was the other aspect of it. So, you can't you can't misremember things on this show. You can't.
No, you can't. You have to always know, keep a tally of what you've been telling everybody. You need to remember what you said in your confessionals for those reunions.
Yeah.
I think that that's every time I hear from people who are friends with some of these women and they say that they're completely different, especially the ones who are painted as the villain, I can't really reconcile that in my mind because I feel like, yes, we're all multifaceted. We all have a dark side to us. I get that,
Yeah.
right? Everybody did. If we were on reality TV tomorrow, people would see sides of us that they would never see on our YouTube channels, all right? Like there's a crazy side. No, because I tell my subscribers, I said, listen, if I should go on a show tomorrow, you'd be getting on a YouTube channel of your own and you'd be talking about me because I have sides to me where she'd be like, oh my gosh, Brooke. I'm like, yeah. But you know what I'm saying? But I can talk about these folks because I'm not on. So I can sit up here and act like, oh yes, oh my God, isn't that horrible? But if you saw me, there are some sides to me where
Listen,
you know,
I'm only nodding because I know myself.
okay, listen, right? So it's like I understand that yes, we all have different sides to us, but I think that it's a bit alarming when you're on TV and you can just lie and lie on people and accuse people, but then you're completely just pleasant and sweet in real life. I think that it's almost like you're playing a character, I guess, because I don't understand how you're so drastically different, if that makes sense.
And I don't want to say there is something I know about reality TV and being
Mhm.
and being followed by cameras. It does amplify a lot of your reactions, responses, and things like that. So I don't really know what to make of it. It's a difficult position for me because I'm like, obviously have a soft spot for her, but at the same time, I got to judge what I'm watching, and I can't unsee what I'm watching because that's
Mhm.
what you gave me. So now I got to go off of this, and it makes her look like an um unreliable narrator. And when we can't believe the person narrating the story, then we either lose interest or it turns into a dislike because now we don't understand you.
Yep. Yeah. And it's funny because another thing, and I'm sure you can relate to this, but I noticed that a lot of creators have said the same thing, that if you're friendly with the housewife or a bunch of them, they love you until you have to start when they show their behind. They love you until you have to say, "Listen, what you did or what you said, that wasn't right. Why would you do that?" Then they're in your DMs angry, and it's all these excuses of how I'm sure you get that. And my whole you really see that it's really hard for you to even, I guess, have like a sort of relationship because they get so sensitive in their feelings. And it's like, I'm not just bashing you for no reason. I'm going off what we saw for 44 minutes. And in
Yep.
the 8 minutes that we saw you did X, Y, and Z, and I have to talk about it. But you see how a lot of them, they love you when you are on their side, and then they just are livid with you. But and then I always say, listen, you came in my DMs. I didn't go in your DMs, okay? You came in my DMs. So listen, you don't have to watch. So but I'm sure you can relate.
I definitely can relate. You know what is always interesting to me? Like, so sometimes I get called in to go do like either a little segment at Fox 5 here. And so the most obvious person for me to run into is Ashley because she does a lot of segments there. And so I remember the first time they was gonna pair us together, I was like, does she know I'm coming? Like, I'm like, when I get there and I get to the back of the dressing room, she's like, "Hey, babes." I mean, but she gets it though.
Yes, she does.
She is one of those that is not sensitive about the commentary. And obviously, I ain't going like crazy low on none of these people, but she is somebody who understands what this all is, right?
Mhm.
So, and in real life, she too is, I mean, I feel like she's cool, but I think she's on the show too. So then there's the mix of the girls on the show and how they interact and what's the standard or what is expected from Ashley this season, and she knows what she thinks she should give, I think. But in real life, no, she gets it. She's like, I know this is your job, this is what you got to do. So those I love. I
Yes.
absolutely love. But it also has I do have a little bit of a distance, especially now, just because you're gonna do something that I find crazy, and I'm gonna say it.
Yeah.
So you can't be mad.
Yes. Exactly. 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 And going back on Ashley, I get on Ashley all the time. She is not one of my favorites, and all my subscribers, y'all know I do not care too much for Ashley. But every time I've met Ashley, she has been lovely. And it's so funny because I'm always looking like, okay, she's gonna be like, now why? Because I've called her, I mean, I've never called any housewife out of their name. I've never called anybody the
No.
B word or it's never, no. I
But
never
you
said,
call out what you see.
yes. But if I feel like some behavior is colorist or would I say it. And I've referred to her and some of her counterparts as that. So I mean, I'm very hard on Ashley, but I will say though, in person, she's very much a good sport about it. She's like,
Mhm.
listen, I get it. And I think that she likes being talked about, whether it's bad or good. She feels if you're not talking about me, that's when I should be worried.
Boom.
She has that, and she's right about that. But with Ashley, where do you see her spot on this show? Because I feel like Ashley's storyline has run out.
Um, For whatever reason, feel like the network loves her.
Hmm.
They've given her this Love Hotel spinoff with Giselle and Shannon and Luann. And so I think that they're fully invested in her. And I think they like her because she is, for whatever reason, and I do get it, but I think she represents this young sort of spirit that I think that the Bravo is trying to capture with some of these housewives shows. And so I think that they like that about her because it also mean likely longevity within the franchise, right?
Mm,
As you saw with New York, it seemed like they kind of skewed towards the sort of younger women, even as they were sort of in that ending phases with the Leahs.
yeah.
Leah should never have been on Real Housewives of New York. She should have been right in Summer House. Why would you put
Yes.
that girl on the show? Like that, it didn't make any sense. But Ashley would also fit well on a Summer House.
Mhm.
So I think that they do like that young sort of vibe from her, and so I think that she is going to be safe, and she does enough in terms of chaos that I think that they like her. That's what I'm saying.
So that means that we'll see her for season 10 then with this same old divorce storyline still dragging out with her and Michael Darby. And okay, unfortunately.
That's just what I think.
now, now I want to get quick thoughts. I know that the tea is circulating about what Eddie has on his phone about TJ. What do we think about Stacy and this fake boyfriend? Because it's obvious that that was a whole setup. That was a scheme that Todd set up to bring us the BS. Okay.
Oh God, Stacy is much more interesting without TJ.
Yes.
I'm like, bring back AJ, but leave
Yes.
TJ. Like TJ to me weighed her down.
Hmm.
And so to me, it wasn't even like, how somebody brings on like somebody like they're dating, and you're like, oh, at least we can get some like, I mean, what do you got going on? You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Something. I don't even want to know what he had going on. I don't want to know. I just
No.
take him away. Number one, when we first met you, you didn't seem that all that interested in her in the first place. So that was strike one. Okay. Then it was like you did. Then he like was kind of mistreating her at the at Wendy's event,
Yeah.
like telling her not to put her hands on him. I'm like, you see, she got to work. Then all of a sudden, tell your husband about me. Girl, how does that sound? Say it again. Tell your husband about me. If you got to say your husband and me in the same sentence, you too soon. It's too soon. It's too soon. Then at the event where they got to work in the last episode, he running around like, well, what I'm supposed to do? Go host. Go host. Go. Entertain the people. Go walk a dog. Anything. Instead, he back there sitting up there like Gargamel, looking down upon everybody with an evil grin, got everybody wondering, did you press the smog machine? Like,
Um,
I'm sorry. That's my thoughts on TJ.
okay, we're on the same page. I never forgot. No, listen, I never forgot how he cooked her that tombstone pizza out of her freezer and gave her that 25-cent hug drink. Not even a Gatorade or a fruit punch. I was floored. I'm still not over that. I said, okay, TJ. I said, okay, Stacy, this is the best you could do. This man is broke. On top of him not liking you, being attracted to you, he's also broke. He doesn't have two nickels to rub together. Finally, on the second to last episode, we see them out on that date at a hotel rooftop where he says, tell your husband about me. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, you finally got some money. Production slipped you $50 to go to happy hour to take her out because we know that you're broke.
I I don't like him for her.
Mm-mm. No, no. And then, I mean, I think it's so crazy. It's so atrocious that this man. I mean, can you lie? Can you at least tell better lies? TJ
Yeah.
talking about he's only 41. Sir, you were 31 back when you were on that episode of Sister Sister in 1999. I was only 9 years old then. So now when you tell me you're 16, stop, sir, stop. He was 41 then. He is He's at least 59, 60. But yeah, I said, sir, you are 41 in dog years. Don't try it. Stacy, do not ever bring this man back.
You know what the hardest part for me is? You're supposed to be an actor. Like,
I
you can't even sell me on this relationship. Bro, like, go back to your acting coach. Actually, go back to whatever soap opera you was on, Bold and the Beautiful, Days of Our Lives, General Hospital, whatever. Go back, go back, go back.
Now, before we get off of Potomac, the burning $64 million question is about Karen Huger. We see that she's not at the reunion, but she does, she sends in a video of her crying at home. Not going to hold you. I did feel bad for her. But where do we see Karen's fate on the show? Do you see her coming back for season 10?
That's going to depend on that verdict.
Oh, yeah, I
Well,
keep forgetting.
the sentencing, I mean, that's going to depend on
Yes.
that sentencing. So, what I do see her coming back. I think that they will want to follow her story, but but I, I, if I were her family, I
Mhm.
would not advise her to go back.
Yeah, that's what
Um,
I wanna know. If she let's because her sentencing is this month, the end of this month.
mhm.
If she goes to jail, if they say 6 months in jail, and Bravo says, "We'll pause the show until you come out because we wanna get you fresh out of jail," like Teresa Giudice when she came back on from jail. Do you think that she will wanna come back and tell us the truth about what happened? Do you think that she'll be able to humble herself and just tell us, or do you think that she'll just say, "You know what? I'm done."
I think it depends on if she needs the money.
Ooh, true.
I mean, because at the end of the day, this is still work for her. So she's got to know she if she does come back, she's got a target on her back. But she's probably used to that by now.
Mhm.
But the question will be whether or not Karen will give us her um real experience. And I think that's always the question with her is, are we getting her real feelings, emotions? Because I get this general sense that she's always on guard with these women. And so as in being on defense all the time, I don't think it always allows her the opportunity to really be, again, like I said, contrite. The difference between, in my opinion, Shannon and Karen, two different situations,
Yes.
obviously, but I felt like with Shannon, we felt the remorse. You
Yes.
felt something that, like a regret. With Karen, it just felt like, I ain't gonna let none of y'all punk me. I ain't gonna open up not one bit to any of y'all because I don't trust any of y'all. And
Mhm.
so y'all gonna get nothing from me. And it didn't work in her favor ultimately. But
Done.
do I blame her for being defensive? Not really. Because if you look at the whole season and if you look at seasons past, Karen has typically been a target, but she sometimes makes herself a target.
Yeah, I'm like, Karen is no little innocent
Right.
angel here because when other people have had targets on their back, Karen has stuck the knife in and just dug in it. Like, I mean, think about all that stuff about, he's going, no, don't drop, tell Michael, don't drop the soap, clankety clank. She was on Robin's behind about the whole Juan situation. And, how dare you come on this show and hide your whole storyline? And she hit her whole storyline. Like you
Boom.
said, her and Shannon, it's been night and day. And
Mhm.
one thing with Karen, and I said this in my last recap, Karen and Mia are a lot alike. Mia just does not have the charisma that Karen does. Because if we're being honest, Karen also lies. But we let Karen get away with it with the whole Grand Dame moniker and then her antics. She gives you a cute little one-liner and she's an OG. So people have played into it. But if you really think about it and strip it all the way back, Karen also does not tell the truth either. But we let her slide because she's more charismatic.
I liken Karen to Phaedra.
Yes. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, very much so.
You
Very much
know,
so.
I feel like they're both slippery.
Mhm, mhm.
So it's like, Karen will find her way out of a situation. Phaedra will do the same because, and people lap it up because they're gonna give us also entertainment,
Yes.
but they're gonna also that's how they typically wiggle their way out of situations.
Yes.
So in my mind, I feel like I see the parallels, but I think that with Karen, Karen is just a bit, and I loathe to use this word, but and I won't say I'm going to use another word. Karen is probably just she doesn't hide it as well as Phaedra.
You think?
Here's what I mean.
Okay.
Robin tells us on Watch What Happens Live that these are the calls that she was getting from Karen at 10 a.m.
Mhm.
or 2 a.m. So enough people have witnessed your behavior for it to be like, girl, like, I mean, like, keep it on the hush. Like,
Mhm. Mhm.
Wendy even tells us at in the reunion clip, like, oh, this person says that she comes here allegedly and gets drunk all the time. So that's what I mean by like, girl, keep it like within the household. I mean,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, drink at home.
Charisse has been saying it since day one too.
She has.
Reese has been saying, you were drunk. It's all known around town that you go and you hit on these young boys half of your age, and you far from the bar stools. You have an issue. You got your DUI 10 years prior to us joining this show. There's a problem there. And then Karen would always laugh it off and curse Charisse out. But yeah, you're right. No, you're right that like it is a known thing because even Ashley has said she's called me, and Giselle has said, oh yeah, Karen, she calls us up drunk all the time, and we all know about her boyfriend. And yeah, you're right. It's always been chatter and fodder. But I think that this DUI has let the cat all the way out the bag. That is true. That these are not baseless claims. That they were telling the truth the whole time.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate though. Especially just I don't know. I get again. I just liken it, especially seeing that video. Like seeing that video, man. I was like, yeah, you gotta there's an issue here. There's something that like this. It seemed like common behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Does
Mm-hmm.
that make sense? Like it seemed like this didn't seem new.
Ray's
So,
face said it all. Ray's face looked like, here we go again.
mhm,
And now she's been caught.
mhm.
But this looks like a common occurrence. And he seemed like he got out the bed 11:30 p.m. Like, oh gosh, like, let me go pick her drunk self up again. But like, he looked just tired. He didn't look like, oh my gosh, like, it was just like, oh, like, here we go again. Like, can we just go home?
Yep, yep. So I don't know, man. I don't know. But if I'm Ray, I'm telling her not to go back to that show.
With that money though. And
That
they're gonna
money.
offer her a raise. She's making what, 600,000 a season? Who wants to say no to that? And then and think about it. We all love a comeback story.
We
We all
do.
we all fall down. We're not trying to act like we're God, but we
No.
are just saying we want you to just tone it down a bit, come back down to earth, and just admit that you did a stupid thing, and we want to embrace you back into the fold. But I think that Karen has allowed her arrogance from being on the show to just jump out and cloud her vision because even throughout the body cam footage, the whole entire 30 minutes of she's telling the cops, do you know who I am? And when you find out who I am, you're going to feel ashamed of yourself. And Andy gave me the nickname, the Grand Dame. And do you know who I am? And you're poor and white. And it was just the arrogance just seeped out. And I think that Karen has let this show go to her head.
And it makes me wonder also too, do we think that doing the show fuels the need to drink for her?
I think, well, I've been told that a lot of the women on various franchises are coping with the drama that the show brings to their lives with like Lexapro and Valium and Xanax because it's a lot. I mean, having people, especially if you're the target of that season, it's
Yeah.
a lot coming at you. I think that the show, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it did exacerbate an already lingering issue with alcohol. A lot of people who have had issues with alcohol or whatever, they said that the show, the fame, it's a lot, and you start turning to that. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, and I also agree with you that, when I also, as you were talking, I was thinking about Luann and how she was able to sort of spin this situation into something more
Yes.
positive for her. So I think maybe I guess it depends on Karen's support system, how she chooses to come back into the group. If she comes back with like, some real, like, real life, this is what happened to me. And she uses it as a way to, reach other people who may be going through the same thing, then I feel like, yes, she can make it work. But
Mhm.
if the show is fueling the desire and the need to cope, to drink, then we've got another issue that we've got to address before she should be able to come back to the show.
But I do think that that check is just so big and it's just too
Oh, I
good
know, I
that
know. Like, yeah, for 3 months of work, yeah, I might be back too, heavily on my Lexapro.
yes, yeah, and then they're gonna give her a raise. They're gonna give her a raise. They'll up her to like 750, 800,000. So you're gonna say no to that, and then you get your bonus for the reunion. You get your 100,000 for the reunion. That's 900,000 total.
I don't know. Now, see, Brooke, now you got me thinking.
Yeah,
Bump my health. What about my bank account? The mortgage is due every month.
it's true. I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't know. I think that the check and the money and she still likes the fame, and I
Yeah.
don't think that she would want to have to watch them without her on there.
Ooh, I know that would probably have to hurt, and I think that you're right about that because I do feel like she does enjoy that. I mean, who wouldn't,
Yes.
right? You're
Yeah.
you're getting dressed up all the time. You're getting the hair and the makeup. You're getting invites to Fashion Week. It does come with a lot of perks, but
Mhm.
I just hope that she finds a healthy way to manage that should she choose to come back.
I want her to do that, but I need her to be a real person and stop being, just be real. Stop
Yeah.
with the lies. Stop thinking that you're above everything because you're on a show. You see how fast it's all fleeting. It could go like that. Um, I just because I think back to how she acted at BravoCon. She missed her photo op, and that fan called her out, and they were like, I waited 2 hours online for you, and you weren't there. And she was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Like she made some excuse about how she had a headache, and then the next day she said she'll make it up to the fans who wanted to see her, and I passed by her booth and she's at her booth charging them $30 for a picture with her, and I'm like, Karen, the audacity, you missed your photo op. How,
Wow.
like, it's just like, who do you think you are? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's really gone to her head, and it's just like, who do you think you are? You know what I'm saying? Like, I
Ooh.
understand, you know, I get it. It's
Especially for how
important.
much people are paying to go.
Yeah, yeah. And the fan who did that, he was general admission. So general admission, it's still expensive.
Yeah.
And it's like, the audacity for you just to like not care about anybody's time. It's just like, okay. But yeah, I was like, Karen girl, you need to get it together,
Ugh.
But we'll see about Miss Karen Huger. But any more
Mhm.
thoughts about Potomac, or did we beat that with the dead horse like a dead horse?
I think we beat it pretty good, but
Perfect.
we'll see come February 26th when that
Yes.
when that sentencing comes down, what happens. That'll be
Yes.
really the telling factor about what happens next.
Absolutely. But I do want to move on to Beverly Hills.
Okay.
Beverly Hills has started, and we are like 10 episodes in. It kind of started off kind of slow, but I feel like they're picking up a very nice pace. Now, I would love to get your opinions. We have Bose as a newbie, and we have Jennifer Tilly as a friend of. I'm loving both additions to the show. I
Yep.
think that they bring a lot. I think that Bose, I like how she just assesses situations quickly. She's not afraid to just give her 2 cents. She gets in there. She's perfect. How do you feel about her and Dorit's blossoming friendship? I love it. On the other hand, I have some people who fight me on it, but I think that's very genuine. It's very sweet. What do you feel about their dynamic?
Um, you know, it's so difficult. On the one hand, I love it, right? I like Bose in general. Like,
Yes.
just I like who she is, how she shows up.
Mhm.
She's just like fabulous. I respect that she states her opinion, but sometimes I feel like her opinion is really steeped in Dorit, right?
Mhm.
It's heavily invested in Dorit. And I feel like what I would like for her to do is, and she kind of does this a little bit in this episode that just recently happened as I was watching it. When she asked Kathy, like, I kind of feel like Kyle is a little bit cold, right? And there could be a number of reasons for that. But I also go back to Garcelle. Garcelle said something similar when she first came onto the show as well. So maybe there is something about Kyle that is a bit cold when she is first introduced to someone new. Whereas I think Dorit also was in need of someone
Mhm.
and was more open and more welcoming. And so I feel like that's probably why Bose gravitated towards her so much. But I do also wish sometimes, like, I don't think Bose has a global opinion about the
Mhm.
group. I think she has her opinion based on the lens of being Dorit's good friend at this point.
Got it. To piggyback off of what you said regarding Garcelle saying the same thing about Kyle being cold to her, I think that Kyle does that to the newbies despite like who they are
Yep.
because Crystal, she has the podcast with Cynthia called Humble Brag. And she said that when she joined, um, they told her, like, just so you know, this is Kyle's show. And Kyle pretty much looked at her like, like this is my show, like I run this. And so Kyle has that attitude where she thinks that she's above it all. The show has gotten to her head, like we talked about Karen Huger. The show has also gotten to her head as well that she thinks that she's bigger than the program. Um, I do think that I do want to see more scenes, like you said, like which is with Bose, like not always focusing so much on Dorit. Like I totally get it.
It's like
Like
every episode, it's like
yes.
the two of them, and I'm like, I mean, is she allowed to film with anybody else? Like, nobody else got her number? Like, I mean, can we mix it up just a little
Hmm.
bit? But then I also kind of feel like maybe they're really just showing these are the real relationships and how
Yeah.
they really function. Like with Sutton taking Garcelle and Kyle to her mom's house. That made sense to me. Why you gonna take some girls that you know don't really like you and your mama don't even really like you? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so as there are aspects of it that I feel like, okay, I I can feel what they're doing, but does it always make for the most exciting? Because I feel like we're regurgitating some scenes of the same thing and the same feelings. So like, how do we push this thing forward? I do. I do.
So I actually liked in this episode the split
I
groups,
did too.
right? I thought that it was like more intimate. We got like I loved it. I love the energy and chemistry with everybody.
Hmm.
So we have Sutton, Garcelle, Kyle, and Augusta. What did you think about Sutton's mama Reba? How she greeted Garcelle when Garcelle gave her the scar from Saks? Because I was too done.
um. Oh God, this is so hard because okay, it's given what I expected it to give. I'm from the South, so there's an element that I felt like Sutton prepared us for, right? Her mom is like kind of grouchy, like she prickly. I feel like, but I almost feel like she's a little bit extra prickly with Garcelle.
Hmm.
Um, and so it was given a hint of the black lady. What's she doing here?
Yep.
That's what it was given a hint of, and I just feel like it. And that does not mean, and I gotta say this, and because I'm from the country, that does not mean every person is like that. But it just was given antebellum South.
Yes. Yes. One of my subscribers, and I posted my recap. I could not stop laughing. They said I would have read Reba to Reconstruction. I was on the floor. I was like, my subscribers are so funny. Like, I read their comments and I am literally like tears coming down my face. I cannot stop laughing. Like, the comments are just too good. But when I saw that, it said I would have read Reba to Reconstruction, then I would have left.
Let me tell you, Garcelle was a good sport. And
Yeah.
Kyle had the good sense to say, you know what? I'm not doing this with Reba. I'm hands off on this one. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I can see what's happening here. I don't want no parts. I'm just here. I'm just here to do something. I'm here to collect this check and keep it pushing. Okay. Thank you, girl, for inviting me on this trip, but child, no.
Now, speaking of Kyle, I feel like Kyle isn't really being forthright with us about the divorce. We still know very little about why her and Mauricio are separating in the first place. Her failing to take accountability when it comes to texting PK. Do you feel like this might be Kyle's last season? Because I think that the writings are on the wall. We see production showing all the times where she's lied and been hypocritical. So I feel like production, for the most part, has always been on her side. But this time, it seems like they're even sick of her BS too. And it might be time for her to go.
That's a hard one. Because I also feel like Andy really likes her. Um, I too am baffled about this divorce. I too am curious how no one is really asking her to be forthcoming about why they're even getting a divorce. You know, you've had this relationship on the show for at least what 12 seasons before things started to somehow crumble. Then you're
Mhm.
running around the world with she who shall not be named anymore.
Mhm.
And it's like we're not supposed to ask any questions because you say that you've given everything over the past 13 years. Well, girl, this is not you can't just stop working because you've been here for 13 years. That does not work in any job. I mean, I can't just show up and sit here on YouTube and just look at y'all. No,
Exactly.
somebody is expecting me to say something. So it's like, girl, like, no, we want to tell her what happened. We don't
Yeah.
even know why y'all getting a divorce, but you crying in the episode talking about I'm so lonely, this, that, and the third. Well, you weren't lonely last year when you was tattooing that girl and ain't got no tattoo license, ain't been approved to tattoo nothing, just writing on scrawling on the girl's arms and legs and whoever else. Like that's crazy to me. And now we're not supposed to. Nobody's supposed to ask you any questions about it. Okay. So when Garcelle said what she said about, listen, girl, if you just want to be that, just be that. You know what I'm saying? While I did think that the comment was like, girl, you Garcelle, you was team too much. Okay. She might not, that might not be how she identifies. But I got what Garcelle was saying. Just be whatever it is you're gonna be and
Mhm.
stop these shenanigans because you're giving us glaze, right? But you ain't giving us no meat. Like you just like, girl, what are you doing here? What really are you doing here? Because we know nothing.
No, we know nothing. All she's talking in circles. It's a bunch of word salad. The first episode, the premiere episode for this season, she alluded to coming out to her daughters. Remember that when she said, I
Mhm.
had a sit down conversation and they said, Mom, it doesn't matter. Like, we still love you. And Garcelle's like, okay, so does that mean that, you like women? Like, and she still won't say it. And it's like, Kyle, you claim to be so honest. And like you said, you can't use, well, I've given you my life for the last 12 years. You can't use that as a crutch because she keeps going back to, well, I'm the only housewife who has had two sisters on who I actually fought with. Yes, you did. We did see the drama and the breakdown of you and Kim and you and Kathy's relationship for years. But right now, present day, you guys are good now. You guys are all speaking. Right now, it's about you, your sexuality, and what's going on with Mauricio. So just tell us what's happening. I don't know why that's so difficult, but I
What are
think
they?
that
What are they hiding? That's what I mean. Just tell me what you're hiding. Did he cheat? Did you
yeah,
cheat? Did you just fall out of love? Like, just give it to us because at this point, it's not like the the speculation is probably much worse than
Yes.
whatever really happened.
Yes, exactly. And she's making this worse. She's dragging this out for no reason and it does not have to be this way. And I think that it's unfair because she's the highest paid on their cast. She's getting a million five every single season. And you don't deserve to get a huge check and then cheat the viewers for 2 seasons in a row by not sharing your truth. And remember, let's not forget how she did Denise Richards. She tried to destroy Denise Richards when Denise was on. And for you to say, well, it's not right for you guys to try to speculate about somebody's sexuality or out somebody. Well, let's talk about how you tried to out Denise Richards about that whole threesome with Brandy Glanville.
Yep. Yep.
Let's talk about that.
Yep. I forgot about that. And
Yeah.
now look at Denise.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Denise has her own spinoff now.
Hmm.
Yeah. But I just feel like it's not right. And did you see the reports from Us Weekly? They're claiming that Andy has tapped LVP to come back, and Lisa Vanderpump has famously said, "I will not return back on that show if Kyle is still on there." So I feel like the writings are on the wall that they want season 15 to be an LVP takeover with Kyle leaving.
Well, here's the thing. Kyle really doesn't have anything going on.
Nope.
So, I mean, I want to advocate for her, but at the end of the day, it's like if you're saying that you can just show up to work and not work and not really tell us what's going on, you leave us all in a cloud of mystery. So at least we know that Lisa Vanderpump has, if she's gonna give us fabulosity.
Hmm.
Okay. So you gotta at least be able to bring something to the table. And if you're not gonna bring us anything and not even the fabulosity at this point, then where do we go from here? Because Kathy can give you what Kathy is giving where you're not.
Hmm.
And Kathy is Chinese BC.
You know what? What is wrong with you? I'm screaming. Why would you say that, Richie?
Kathy's at least able to give us her genealogy. Girl, you can't even tell us what's going on in your marriage. Get out of here.
Yeah, I think that Kyle might be done. I think she might be done because she keeps saying that this was the hardest season ever and they all try to gang up on her. And then after Bose's house, when she had the meltdown, she took a week off of filming. Now, who has done that? We've seen housewives get assaulted and they still showed up the next day for work. So who are you to think that because somebody questioned you that you have the right to take off a week of work? Did you have that same energy for Denise Richards? Because Denise Richards still showed up after you guys did what you guys did to her. Y'all all teamed up against her. You, Dorit, Erica, y'all all went against her.
And now
When
look at
you
all
ran,
y'all.
yeah, when you ran LVP off the show the season before that. So how dare you think that you have the right to say, "Oh, well, I don't want to film for a whole week. Leave me alone. I'm distraught."
Yeah, Kyle can't take it when the heat is on her. That same heat that she puts everybody else through.
Yep.
She can't when it's directed at her, now it's oh my God, everyone is against me. We've all got to stop this. Look at us.
Yes.
Look at us. And it was like, girl, like, where you been the past few years? Like, did you miss you?
Yes.
I don't get it. Girl, is it what is the saying? It's no fun when the rabbit has the gun.
Bingo. Exactly. That part.
And she don't like it.
No, she does not. Now, I like how Erica is maneuvering between everybody this season. I like how she's kind of like the peacemaker. She's, no drama. It's an easy storyline this year, but I want to talk quickly about that last scene of the night of this recent episode when she tells Dorit flat out, he don't want you no more. I was here for it. I said, that is a friend to tell you the truth. Stop playing. What do we think about Dorit and PK? I see folks thinking that it's a fake storyline. I don't know who would fake a divorce storyline like this, but okay.
Yeah, this to me doesn't feel it does. The problem I think the disconnect that we have with the Dorit thing is similar to the thing that we had with Kyle,
Mm.
and I felt like they tried to make up for that at the beginning of this episode by giving us. You saw how they did that little
Yep.
timeline of their relationship. I felt like they were trying to like bridge the gap and bring this thing home, and I appreciated the efforts. But still, I do think that a lot of fans are not, we don't have short memories. We don't, so we remember seasons past when we didn't know nothing was going on.
That's true.
So I think that that's probably why some people feel their way, maybe. But I did appreciate Erica like saying, like, girl, like, I mean, get a, why haven't you gotten a lawyer at this point? Like, at this point, why have you not retained some type of, like, just for your own peace of mind, even if you
Hmm.
got, you know what I'm saying? Like, you
Yep.
guys are at a point now where it's shaky. The moment he sent that email was the moment you should have sent that to your attorney.
Yep. Yep.
That's it. You may still be in love with him. You may still worship the ground that he walks on. But girl, he has basically laid down, he's thrown down the gauntlet at this point, and you need to wake up and smell the coffee. It's time to act. And I
Hmm.
appreciated Erica, like, girl, he don't want you no more.
Yeah. Yes.
He
Yeah.
gone. He gone.
Yeah. He gone.
Like that's it.
Yeah.
Like so, I to me it also spoke, I think, volumes to even Erica's situation to a certain degree because, like Kyle and like Dorit, we didn't see it coming until it hit us in the face. And oh, the news is breaking about Tom Girardi. Oh, Erica's getting a divorce.
Mhm.
Oh, now it was such a it was a stressful marriage. It was a lot of things. It was all it, like what? I
Yeah.
feel like each year we've been smacked across the face with a new revelation about these marriages, and it's like, dang, y'all wasn't giving us the reality.
Well, with Erica though, was anybody really surprised? Because there was no, I did not see any attraction, especially not on her end.
No, I
He
just thought she was married to an older rich man.
Yeah, and he talked to her poorly. Remember when he, like, told her to shut up at
I
that
do
one? He's like,
remember
"Erica,
that.
like, stop talking, like, I'm talking right now, like, be quiet." And I was like, "Whoa, like, there is no respect there." So I wasn't too surprised, but you made a great point about Dorit. It feels a bit disjointed because the entire time it's been, "Oh, my PK, and I love him, and we're great, and never been better, and he's fabulous, and, oh, he just is working, but, so to hear this now that she covered for him the entire time, it's like,
Mhm.
okay, like I get it.
Yep.
But yeah, but I mean I still feel like, yeah, she wouldn't fake. I don't think she would fake,
I don't think
especially
she
with
would either.
kids.
Especially when she said he wasn't a good father. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. Mhm.
that's major.
Mhm. Oh, and you see him on Instagram now?
No.
He's trying to be father of the year. His last post, he's cooking, making cookies with them, and they're. I said, "Oh, okay. Now that she outed you as a deadbeat, now you're father of the year, sir." You haven't seen those kids in 5 months. Now you called them up to make cookies, and we're gonna order some McDonald's on Daddy. Good fun, Dad.
Maybe trying to get in front of the episode or at least chase after it so that they
Yes.
can navigate that story and make themselves look better. And it's like, bro, like if you ain't been there for these kids, like just stop.
Exactly. But it's funny, the comments, they are eating him up. You have ladies like, I know you're kind. They're calling him everything but a child of God. Child, they are going in on him. They say, you don't fool me. These chocolate chip cookies don't fool me, sir. You're a deadbeat. Like, stop right now. You should feel ashamed of yourself. How could you do that to your kids? Like, they are eating him up in the comments.
See? See? And that's why
Mhm.
you should never like if the allegation comes out and she says that you're not a good father, like I always hate when somebody tries to do like the exact opposite on Instagram. It's like we you ain't fooling us. Just keep posting about George Michael. I mean, whoever you,
Boy
Boy
George.
George or whomever, like just keep doing that. We know that's what you're really interested in doing anyway. Managing the people, opening something up over here, spending some. I don't know. Stop.
Yes, please stop. Now, quickly, what do you think about New York? We know what happened in that finale. I was floored. The last part of the reunion came on this past Tuesday. I'm not going to hold you. Uba is a better woman than me because I don't know how she was able to walk across that stage and hug Bryn. I was shocked. What were your? I mean, and I think what really bothered me is we saw full Karen behavior on display. The fact that Bryn sat there the entire time and made herself out to be a victim when they're all like, Bryn, what you did was harmful, and she's still acting like she's I was floored. And they infantilize her like she's a little girl when she's 40 years old. You're a grown woman, Bryn. Grow up. Like what were your thoughts about this? Do you see them coming back?
The show itself?
Yes.
Mm.
Give
Mm.
me everything. I have all the time. Give me every single thing.
Okay, I feel like Uba did what again I feel like a lot of times we often have to do. We have to elevate ourselves above the situation. And I also feel like the thing with Uba was that she had the support of the cast in recognizing that this is what Bryn did, right? So it wasn't like they believed it. So I
Mhm.
think she also can rest easy now knowing that everybody else has seen the truth, and so she doesn't have to hang on to that anger. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Yeah.
Because that's Bryn's trauma. I mean, it just is. You know, whatever she went through. I mean, nobody wishes that on her, but that is her trauma, and it is not Uba's to wear. So I think that Uba, I think being in my mind, just emotionally mature enough to realize that there's something going on with this girl, and I don't want no parts of it no more. But I'm not gonna hang her for it. That's what I felt like
Mhm.
she gave at the end. And again, I feel like that's what we do. That's what we do. That's how we have to we have to always elevate and rise above, because otherwise if we hang on to it, we're going to look like the angry person. That's just how it works. So and I think that Uba's just happy in her own life. So she didn't need to hang on to that. In terms of the show itself,
Mhm.
I have found the show to be a struggle to watch, to be very honest with you. I have tried both seasons to really get into it. And to me, it's just something that doesn't really resonate with me because I felt like with Dubai, and I felt like a little bit with Salt Lake City, but Salt Lake City has had some benefits that they've been able to like really sort of ride on and make something of the show, right? They've had scandal literally just about every season. And what they have done is they've made the most of those scandals while also being bonded in a different way
Mhm.
than some of these other casts like a Dubai and like New York. We don't feel that bond there. We don't feel like these are like longtime friends. So if they beef, like who cares? Like there's no stakes there. There's
Mhm.
nothing to be lost. And then I do feel like, to me, sometimes I do think that, you know, what do you want housewives to be? Do you want housewives to feel like Summer House, or do you want housewives to feel like housewives? To me, housewives requires more seasoned um, ladies. That's just my opinion. And I think it's funnier when there's life experience there. The shade is a little bit more elevated. You know, the things that are happening. You know, you just find zany women. We don't have to know them, right?
Mhm.
You've got to have the right mix of slightly delusional or way delusional. You've got to have, opulence. You got to have like over the top riches, or you've got to have, somebody that's, really uptight, and you've got to have that mix. And if you don't have that, but they got to be connected
Mhm.
in some way. You know what I'm saying? So when you start to pull in these like influencers and like the Jenna Lyons, I mean, God bless them, but at the end of the day, it's like they don't really work because they didn't even want to give their real lives. So I'm like, no, get these people off my screen. Give me somebody that I can discover.
Mhm.
Give me, a a Morgan is a diamond in the rough. You know what I mean? Like we didn't know who she was. I mean, she was married to somebody that we know their last name. We didn't know her, but she sure enough was running around the streets of Europe. Okay, updos and all kinds of other things going on, and so she has that lived experience. So when she comes into the show, you know, they have stuff to pull from that I feel like sometimes a lot of these younger cast members they don't have that. That's just my thought.
No, you hit it on the head. I mean, everything that you said, that's how I feel too. Like, think about it. I mean, there was so much like juicy lore about Sonia Morgan because think about she was married to JP Morgan. We know JP Morgan Chase, all right? But that whole story was fascinating about how they got divorced in the first place because she doesn't like to talk about it, but she
Exactly.
was so traumatized by that divorce because allegedly the story goes he left her for her best friend because when he got hurt in an accident, he was in the hospital and she was still in San Tropez. And he called her and said, "Hey, I need you to come. I'm in the hospital." She didn't want to because she was running around with other guys her own age because he's like 40 years old. He's like 98 years old today and she's only like 50, but the story goes is that while he was in the hospital hurt, she was running around having affairs with these guys in San Tropez, and her friend went to go see him in the hospital, and he was like, "Oh, by the way, she's cheating on you." And he was like, "Okay," divorced her while he was in the hospital and married his fifth wife. She was his fourth wife. His fifth wife, his last wife now, is her former best friend. And that's why every time they talk about her, she talks about her divorce, like, there's, like, this delusional quality
Yeah.
because she's, like, still hurt by the fact that her own actions like, she thought that he wasn't gonna do that because she felt like, "Okay, I'm so young, I'm sexy, like, of course he's gonna let me, like, run around," allegedly, and that's how the story if you go you have to dig deep into Reddit for all the lore
I did
about
not
Sonia.
know that.
Yeah, and then, like, what he left her in the divorce settlement, um, he was giving her, like it was, like, $35,000 a month in child support and then, like, another 50 grand in spousal support, but, like and then the divorce settlement was 20 he gave her $20,000,000, and then she pissed it all away because she did that stupid movie with John Travolta, and then it went belly up, so that's why she had the money issues because she it was, like, a hot mess, but that's why she gets so emotional about her old life and then she had to sell her houses because he left her 4 houses in the divorce, like one in San Tropez, one and she had to sell it all because she went bankrupt because it's a lot with Sonia. That's why she was so delusional because she had the life and then it all went to ruins because of what she did.
We need that.
No, we do. We do need
We need
that
that.
because
That's what we're looking for.
that's no, it is that, and that's why Bethany would always say, like, you have to stop talking about your old life. You don't have it anymore. Like, you don't have the houses. You barely have the townhouse. That it's gone. The yacht is gone. Stop talking about Stad. Stop talking about San Tropez. Stop
Smoking
talking
that
about
fucking shot.
yes, yes, yes. Like, stop. Like, you don't have it anymore. Just stop. But that's why she made for such good TV because she was so loony over what happened. Yeah, but that's the alleged story about why they actually got divorced is because and Dorinda said it. She said, "Don't compare your divorce to, my husband dying. Like I'm a widow. You divorced because you cheated and he left you." And then Sonia started crying. But yeah, that's
Mm.
alleged tea about why
Oh
they
my
got
god.
yeah.
So what would be your ideal New York cast?
I think maybe like half of this new cast and then half of the old cast bring back Tinsley. I think that Tinsley's needed and I want to see her now because she's married now and she's a stepmother to 3 kids, like she married a widower. And so like the kids are like young, they're so cute. Like I would like to see Tinsley. That would be like a nice treat to have her back and we'll see her as a mom and a
Yeah.
wife now and I don't know, I think that bring some of the old people back. Maybe keep some of the new ladies.
I
Ah,
would keep Jesso.
can I tell you something?
Oh.
And I try to be fair, but I have she is so rude. She is my subscribers, you guys know when I met her I interviewed her on the red carpet when the show first came on, she was lovely. The last 2 times that I've seen her at BravoCon, she was rude. I saw her last Saturday I went to the Watch What Crappens Awards with, Kempire because he was presenting one of the
Yeah.
awards.
Yeah.
So, you know how backstage we're VIP, so we're in the back room talking to everybody. You know, Margaret's there, Dolores is there, whatever. You know, it's all, a bunch of Bravo celebrities. I'm talking to Rebecca Minkoff. Rebecca Minkoff is very sweet. Talking to Rebecca Minkoff. Jessel walks in. The interaction, and you can ask Kempire, the interaction with Jessel, because Kempire was like, "Wait, did that just happen?" He was like, like, I was like, okay, so like, I didn't just dream that up. I was like, "Oh, hi, Jessel." Hand to God, no eye contact. She's walking, like, just keeps walking. She's like over here at this point, hi, with her back turned to me. The facial expression, the energy. Kempire is right there next to me, and he's like, "Did that just happen? Like, are you serious?" Like, I was floored. I said, "Never again." I said, "The next time I see her, it
Oh my
dust."
God.
I was, I couldn't believe it.
Well, first of all, I'm so sorry that happened to you. And then second of all, she's off my list now. Okay, she is off the.
Yeah, like, yeah. Nope. Mm-mm. Nope. No,
That
ma'am.
sucks, man. Like yeah, I do not like stuff like that. I do not stuff like I do
No.
not like that.
No. She was really rude at BravoCon too. Real she was and my mom was like, excuse me, like what? Like just rude. Like I was like, okay. I was like, you know what, maybe. And my subscribers, when I told them the story at first, they were like, well, maybe like she would just have like social anxiety. And I'm like, you're on a TV show and you have social anxiety?
I have social anxiety, but still, if somebody comes up to me and they say hi, I'm gonna say hi back. Like, I mean, it's just that's just common decency.
Exactly. No, but she was rude at BravoCon, so I'll give her a pass. But this time, last Saturday, I'm done. I have nothing pleasant to say. I'm done. Done. Sorry.
I mean, and I just feel like you might have to scrap this whole group then.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I just it just it ain't giving with me what I thought I was getting. It's
No.
just not, and they're not even funny.
No.
Like, I'm not laughing at nothing. Like, what is this? And I think Brand was trying to work overtime to do something to make some things happen. And it's like,
Yes.
girl, like you don't see, and that's what the young people sometimes lack is finesse. Because if you're gonna create some mess, it can't be transparent. Like it's gotta be behind the scenes, whatever they said Lisa Vanderpump was, or whatever they accused her of doing, you got to be like that. If you're gonna
Mhm.
create some mess, you gotta be able to create mess and keep your hands off of it and be like, "Oh my god, did that really happen? Oh, she's nasty for that one." Knowing all the while you did it. The gay style, okay?
No. Speaking of
She
other.
irks me. She irks me,
No, I
okay?
know. Well, we're gonna talk about SLC now because the season is officially over. We just saw the final part of the reunion. My thoughts: A+ for the season. This reunion gets a C-. We did not need 3 parts, and it was a complete letdown. I felt. What did you
Yeah, I
think?
felt like, it's like rehashing magic, right? Eh, the season was so magic, like it was magical chaos. So you can't really recreate that based on regurgitating what happened this season. So this is one of those reunions where I felt like it didn't work as well as I think it would have in on another show. So I think that's probably why I felt like a little underwhelmed as well. Um, you can't match what happened. You just cannot match what they did. You can't match it.
You're
So
right.
this show might not always need a three-part reunion. Maybe a one or two part. Like you just got to understand. Like the season might have been great, but we got to look at the reunion as a separate thing.
Mhm.
And maybe we should just go right back into filming.
That you might be right, Richie. I think that's it. You can't recreate magic like that.
And you
Just
some I think with them, just let them go. Just keep filming. Like,
mhm.
the season ended. How did it end? Oh my God. Start right back filming.
Now, Miss, I want to get your thoughts on Bronwyn. What do you think about Bronwyn? Just her overall in the season, and then her reunion performance.
I felt like when she first came on the scene, I absolutely fell in love with her. I thought she was fresh, and I still do to a certain degree. But I do feel like she got too bogged down chasing around Lisa Barlow, thinking that, okay, you think that this girl is your friend. Like you think she is like your friend.
Hmm.
No, she not your friend. She admitted she not your friend. She knows you socially, and that's it. Has she decided early on that you moving funny? Okay, I'm gonna have to let you move funny and let you move on about your way. She wouldn't have made as many mistakes and missteps as she did later on in the season.
Yes.
If she had just cut that friendship loose right from the get-go and just said, I'm gonna embrace who embraces me. But I think that Bronwyn is she can articulate herself and I feel like she can read with the best of them, but I think she needs to also understand the part she plays sometimes in creating mess and just own it too.
Hmm.
Because I liked when during the season where she's like, well, she called you a slut. And I liked all that. I was like, oh, she picking up the ropes. So I feel like don't back down from it. Just be that and let it roll. Like y'all did it to me, I'm doing it to you.
I think that, like you said, Bronwyn started off really strong because I was giving her her tens in the first half. I was like, oh, she's fabulous. But things started to take a turn for me at that campfire event that Whitney and Heather had. And that's when she started coming off, started coming down the hill. And I said, okay, Bronwyn. Then at the bar mitzvah, I thought that was really messy of her to say, okay, Brittany, let's make up. And then she threw her under the bus, right? Like 5 minutes later. I was like, okay, Bronwyn, like, I see how you're moving. It was like,
I ain't gonna lie, it was foul, but it was funny to me because it led to Angie and
it
the hot
did.
mic count.
Yes, it did. It did. But I just felt like, okay, the slip is starting to show. Then you have her talking about Todd cheating on her.
I ain't
And
like
then,
that.
you know,
You listen, it might be true. Maybe he did, right? But I also felt like, who asked for this? Who asked for it? You giving me Britney vibes now.
yes. Her and Brittany have more in common than they think because she does the same thing that Brittany does. Because think about it though, and my subscribers, shout out to them because I was really trying to give Bronwyn the benefit of the doubt, and they were like, "No, Brooke." They were like, "I don't see it that way." They were like, "Brooke, she's doing this for sympathy because they don't like her, they don't trust her, and she's just for you to blurt that out of nowhere about him cheating. Like they weren't
That's
even
how I felt.
talking about that. It was off putting." And then I was like, no, y'all are being too cynical. And they're like, no, like Brooke, watch it again. It's not coming from a sincere place. And then for her to get on, she's on Watch What Happens Live right after the episode saying, oh, well, he didn't. It's like, wait, what? Then at she lost me. I just feel like Bronwyn is a liar. The jewelry situation, it went from he bought me the necklace to now he bought me a smaller version of the necklace to he bought me the hoops and a ring to that I didn't buy anything.
Yeah, she ugh.
Hmm.
She did she do listen, I ain't I let me and I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna preface it, okay? I am here for whatever work you want to get done to your face. I say if you want to plump your face, if you want to pull it all the way off, do it. Okay. If that's gonna make you feel better, go get all the injections, make your lips as big as the sky. I don't care what you do. But something looked different with her face at the reunion. Did you notice that? Or was it just me?
I noticed it
Or
on
maybe I'm hearing Angie's read in my head every time I see her now.
with it. I noticed it on Watch What Happens Live. She was on last week.
It just looked like,
She got something done.
yeah, something was like,
Yes.
and I it was so distracting during the reunion that I was just like,
Mhm.
a little much. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. That's just me. That's just me. And listen, I don't judge. Do whatever
No.
you like. But when I
Yes.
notice it and it's distracting, then I gotta ask a question. Smile.
No, it was and that's why she was, like, sitting on at a slant, I felt. Right? I felt like she was sitting, like no? Was she sitting
I couldn't
straight?
tell if she was sitting at a slant because Whitney couldn't see over them ruffles.
That's true. Yeah, because Whitney was sitting
Poor
Whitney
Whitney dangling on the end.
yeah. Yeah. Now, this whole thing with, Miss Lisa and Whitney, I was so over it by the end of this last part of the reunion. Was it just me?
I don't even know what they're mad about no more. Like
Oh,
I do, but I'm like,
yes.
I'm kind of like, I don't think I care no more. I like I'm channeling trying to care, but I just can't. I'm more interested. What's going on with Brittany? Like, give me
Mhm.
something else. Why she's just desperate to get on the stage. So let's
Yes.
talk about her for a second.
Yes, please take it away.
You know, because I'm just trying to figure out for me, how do you feel about Brittany? Do you want her to be back?
Yeah, I think that Britney should be back. She say what you want about her. She's the perfect amount of delusion and crazy, and she is hungry for her check. Like,
Which is why I feel like they just gonna keep her as a friend.
yes, yes, absolutely.
And it's crazy to me because I feel like the show treats her just like Jared does.
They well, I think the show treats her better than Jared.
I don't know. They just got they getting all you can. It's like why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? They getting all your drama girl for half the price.
Yeah,
Jared getting all your goodies, and he ain't even. He just calling you. Everybody's calling you a friend. Like you giving everything, and everybody is calling, and you're just a friend.
well, think about it this way. She's like Marlo Hampton. She would how Marlo on Atlanta was a friend for all those years.
That makes me. Oh God, I'm afraid. So we maybe we shouldn't make her full time.
Yeah, that's what
No
I'm
shade to
saying.
you, Marlo, but listen, something went very wrong with
Yes.
Marlo, and I don't know if it was her, like, or something behind the scenes. Something just did not work when Marlo became a full-time housewife.
Mhm. Mhm. And I think that Marlo was one of the highest paid friends. She said she was making 275, 300 a year.
Oh, okay.
So like
I might give you some of my mess too for
exactly,
275. Yeah,
right?
I might.
Right? So I feel like she's one of the most, I guess you could say iconic friends, of the
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
So if Brittany is able to land herself like Marlo Hampton did, she's not doing too badly.
True,
Because
true. She's got the songs out. I saw she had a
yes,
Christmas jingle out on the iTunes, and
mhm.
she's doing the things. She got the. Did she get a Kerastese thing or something with the hair or
No,
something?
Lisa got it.
Oh, Lisa, she
Lisa got
did. She did. It was the commercial.
yes, yes.
Dang, Brittany, you.
But I think
And I feel
yeah,
like Heather set her up, and this is where Heather gets away with these things. Andy made it seem like Bronwin was the one that cared about the fact that asked about do you like him just because he's an Osmond? It was
mhm,
Heather that
yep,
brought that up, and I'm like, why does nobody remember that? Heather said that Bronwin followed it up
yep.
for clarification. So I'm like, Heather, you're continuously setting up your friend, but you never get any of the blame for any of the stuff that you do, even to her. She's fighting everybody else, but you're the one spilling all her tea.
But that's
Even down to saying you live a double life.
yep.
Girl, wake up. That woman isn't your
No, not at all. No, I feel like she set her friend up to just fail.
Yep,
She like left her out to dry. I
yep.
think my issue with Heather is that she's so obvious, like you said before about Bryn, she's very obvious that when she's producing a scene. And
Mhm.
it's like, Heather, you haven't had a storyline since season 3, season 4. So I'm gonna need you to try a bit better and not be so obvious with what you're doing because all throughout this season it was like glaring, like
Yep.
I'm producing this scene, I'm trying to stir up mess right now, and it's like yes, yes, it's
And it's
like
like, "Girl, we see you."
it's like hiding, you know that meme of Shaq and he's like hiding behind that little like tiny tree, that was Heather.
"Girl, like, we see what you're doing." But in the scene, they don't it's like they just let her get away with it. I mean,
Mhm.
except for Mary, but, it's like nobody else is calling it out.
I think that Heather is too consumed with trying to go down as like one of like the best housewives ever because the constant monologues, every single finale, I mean, she beat you want to talk about beating a dead horse? She beat that whole receipts, timelines, screenshots, effing everything. Like she beat that for an entire year. We were like, girl, it was cool for like the first few months. Let it go. We have moved past that.
We
Let's
have
like it's enough. But I think that I never what do you think about Meredith defending talking to Jen Shah in jail?
that was odd to me.
Very.
Like, the funny thing about that scene was that they had that camera shot on Heather's face the entire time. I don't know if you saw that.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
between Mary and Meredith, you could see Heather just sitting there looking like and in my mind, I'm like, "I know you've talked to her too." I
Yes.
allegedly, but in my mind, if she called Meredith, I know she like and you just sitting here silently because you don't want that heat. That's how I felt.
Yep.
And she's like, I'm gonna let Meredith go down for this one. I'm just going, "Nah, I know everything that's going on with Jen." That's what I felt like.
Yeah, I caught that. I caught that too. That I mean, because I said, you guys, it's very hypocritical for you to have all this smoke for anybody talking about Monica. Now, I couldn't stand Monica, but you can't have more smoke for Monica than you do for Jen Shah, in my opinion.
No, I mean Mary laid it out for them. Like,
Mhm,
she did all of these things to all of you guys.
mhm.
And it's like the reason why there is a Monica in terms of what she meant to the show was because of Jen.
Yes.
So you can't like Monica was a piece of the puzzle that it felt to me like Jen was sort of the mastermind behind
Mhm.
whether she did it intentionally or unintentionally. She can't control what Monica does, but she kind of gave Monica access. That's
Yeah,
what I feel like.
absolutely. Absolutely. In terms of Angie K, I like Angie K. I think that she's come a long way from being the thirsty friend of season 3,
Mhm.
paying for that party for Coach Shah, and then asking for her money back, which was very nasty. Like, who does that? If you offer to pay, you don't ask for it back. I love Angie down, but she was wrong for that. She was wrong for that. That was trifling. That was trifling. But in terms of Angie, where do you see her footing on the show?
Safe and sound, baby. Like they put her center stage in that photo, or in the in the little
Yep.
whatever they're holding in their hands.
Mhm.
But Angie to me, on any other show, Angie would come across as being thirsty.
Yes.
But on this show, it works because it's so chaotic, right? And the things that she says are just so hilarious to me. And I'm just like, "You are so unserious, girl. You are so unserious." She's like, "I'm just a hairdresser. Meredith's a an attorney. I'm just a measly hairdresser. She should be able to." And it's like, "Girl, we're not even talking about that. Like, what do you like? What are you on right now?" I love it. She gave me the right amount of chaos, confusion, anxiety. She gave it all to me this season, and she definitely deserved that first chair.
Yes. I agree. And Lisa, did you think that Lisa deserved first chair too?
I do, because I feel like Lisa is reactive. I like
Yes.
people that are reactive on these shows. I think that's what these shows thrive on, and I think she authentically thinks that highly of herself.
Mhm.
Like, I just think that she does, and I think that she doesn't see that she does anything wrong, and I so I like a person that stands 10 toes down and either, "Okay, this is how I feel, and I'm always right,"
Yeah.
and, I mean, that's just what it is. I can't help it that you're wrong and I'm right all the time, you know? I
Yeah.
mean, it is what I like that. I do.
Meredith. Meredith, I felt gave friend of energy. Would you be upset if they demoted her for next season? Or do you think that she's like perfect as she is with the outbursts, the soap opera dramatics, with no storyline?
You know what she reminds me of? A Dr. Simone to a certain degree. Like,
Mm.
I like Meredith best when she's screaming and yelling. So I don't know. She Oh, so I'm analyzing your thought about her being a friend of. I could see it,
Uh-huh.
but I do feel like she fits in a she didn't give much at the beginning of the season, to be honest
No.
with you. And so I did feel like, well, where is she? She's getting
Mhm.
lost amongst all of this newness, these other people that are just shining. But I think towards the end, somebody either told her, "Girl, you better wake up and smell like you about to be on the," and I felt like that's when they came knocking at her door. She said, "Okay, I got it. I got you. I got the notes. Time to turn it up." So if she stays active, I think we can keep her.
All right. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah,
Whitney, do you think that I feel like people always say, well, I've always said that Whitney is the Ashley Darby of SLC, right? She likes
I
to,
agree.
right? Whitney doesn't give a whole lot either. All we get from her are these accusations. I wouldn't be upset if she left. Then people say, well, no, you need somebody who's chaotic like that, but everybody's chaotic. So I'm like, I'm kind of torn. If Whitney comes back, I'm not mad at it. But if she doesn't come back, I'm also not mad at that either.
Whitney has been a struggle for me from the beginning.
Hmm.
Because I felt like for a lot of the past couple of seasons, she was very transparent in what she was trying to do in terms of trying to like cause chaos.
Hmm.
She kind of gave Brand energy sometimes to me,
Yes.
not as
Yes.
Brand, but Brand to
Yes.
the to her function on the show, right? Um, this season I actually liked her a lot better.
Hmm.
And I don't know what it was. She was a bit more reasonable. I didn't feel like she was trying to do anything except for that the beginning of the season. Um, but she had a couple of moments, the this and the this at the end. So it was little things that I did enjoy from Whitney this season. And I felt like they kind of sent a message to her by dangling her at the end of the couch.
Hmm. But she's been at the end for like the last few reunions. Because she was at the end last reunion too. So I feel like season 6 is might be her make or break season where like, okay, this is it for you.
She's gonna have to feud with she's gonna have to feud with somebody else outside of Lisa.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
And then Mary, I think that Mary definitely come back. I thought that Mary was so vulnerable. She definitely woke up.
I think that they made her feel safe.
Yes.
I think something either in production, something changed behind the scenes, and maybe it was the friendship with Angie. Maybe that something about she just showed up in like this very exciting way, in this very
Yes.
vulnerable way, and I felt like if I had to give an MVP of the season for me, it would be Mary because I felt like it was such a surprising like blossom, and she didn't try to do anything.
Mhm.
And she doesn't try. So that's what makes her, to me, great TV.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. I think, pretty much bring the whole cast back,
Mhm.
Brittany as a friend. I mean, it was a fantastic, phenomenal season. I really wouldn't change anything. I think that season 6 though will be like their make or break, where like maybe they'll think about, okay, do we need this person? Can we replace this person? But yeah, season 6, I want cameras rolling, everybody back, contract signed.
Yeah, I want them filming today.
Yes. Yes. I agree. I agree. Which
Mhm.
now Richie, I know I've kept you here long enough. I appreciate you, but I do want quick thoughts about Atlanta. We know they come back next month, March 9th. How are you feeling? Are you excited? There's no Kenya in the trail. Well, we see Kenya a little bit in the trailer, but how do we feel about not seeing her in the cast photo?
Okay, first of all, I am excited. I'm super excited. I'm ready. I want to see some fresh faces. I feel like I've studied them. I know who they are. I am ready. Okay, so I'm happy with it. Was I happy with the trailer? I was happy with it because I felt like they were trying to give us lifestyle with the
Mhm.
trailer more than
Yes.
anything else
Yes.
to sort of establish that Atlanta,
Yes.
sexy type of vibe, right? Um, and I felt like they purposely withheld a lot of the drama. In terms of Kenya, I did feel like if you're gonna use her in the season, then I feel like she at least deserved a photo, a cast photo, something. Because if we're gonna see her story and we're
Mhm.
gonna utilize her, unless you just chopped off everything else that happened when she was there and you're not gonna use her at all, then don't give her a photo. But if you're gonna use her, then I feel like you need to give her a photo, give her the proper respect because you're going to use that story. And I just thought it was very weird that they didn't at least give her, if you don't put her in the main cast photo, at least give her a photo because you've given Cynthia a photo as
Yep.
well.
Agreed. Agreed. I was upset by that too. I feel like again, Andy has said in an interview that we are going to see Kenya in like the first 5 episodes because it happens at the beginning of the season. So it's like 5 episodes is pretty major, you know what I'm saying? Like she was filming the
Mhm.
first 5 weeks, so I just kind of think that it's not really, I think at the very least, like you said, give her a friend of cast photo like Cynthia.
Yep. Yep. Um, she deserves that. Because if she's still being featured, if we're gonna tell
Mhm.
her story, like give her that at least.
Mhm.
And I understand that there may be some punitive response to what happened, but in terms of the show and showing her, it's just to me it's out of fairness. That's just me.
Agreed. I think that we're all just ready just to see what happened to put this to bed finally. It's like been so much speculation. We've been waiting for Atlanta for 2 years. They've been gone for 2 years. You know, they were teasing they were supposed to come out like earlier, like in the fall time, and now we waited all this time for March. I'm just like, hurry up. Like, I just want to see what exactly happened so I can finally just know, okay, she was right, she was wrong, or somewhere in the middle. But I can't wait to find out how things came, transpire the way that they did.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it either. And there are other little things that I'm excited about seeing too. I want to see because I always feel like Portia and Shamia fall out every time they film together. Like
Yes.
something ends up happening, so I'm wondering what's gonna happen this time. Like what sets it off. I want to find out what's going on with Drew and Ralph. Like it's like he's in the basement, but like what's going on? Will we see him? Like does he show make an appearance or something like that? How are they gonna swerve around Simon? Can they say his name? Like I mean, because he's gonna be he's gonna be going off.
I
Okay,
know.
when they show his house or his car, the man is going. I don't know what Portia gonna do this season.
And I wonder, and I feel like I hope, well, we saw in that little 30-second trailer where the new woman says, "Girl, why'd you steal that lady's husband?" And then Portia gets mad, and I'm like, "But Portia, you honestly thought that you were going to come back on this show and that's not going to be talked about? Like, you are sadly mistaken." And then on top of that, I want to actually also talk about how she showed her behind on her spinoff show, Portia Family Matters. Let's talk about how you threw that boom mic at Dennis's mother, because I'm still not over that, Portia. So I hope that somebody clocks you about that too.
How are you gonna address that, especially with Dennis now being on the show? Because I mean, I feel like we've got to follow that up with something.
Yes, we
Because
have
that's
to.
the last time we saw
Yeah.
Dennis, and so
Mhm.
now you're filming with him again, and now you're upset because he's working with Drew.
Mhm.
How did y'all like? bridge that gap? And is his mama afraid that you're gonna throw something else at her?
Yeah, like, I wanna see that. Like, I really hope that Portia gives us her real life. I hope it's not any fluff. I do not wanna see anything about, like, "Oh, we're just, like, one big happy family co-parenting." No, like, we did not get a reunion for that, and, like, that episode was so violent, remember, that it was supposed to be 9 episodes, and they cut it short. That was the last episode. They only gave her 7 episodes because of that. We didn't get a reunion, there was no resolution. She was too embarrassed, didn't wanna talk about it, so I'm like, "Yeah, we need to know, how did you guys forgive each other? Well, how did he forgive you for that?"
And you know what pissed me off though in the trailer, and I don't know what we're gonna get, so I gotta wait for that episode. But like the moment that she has that confrontation with Shamia, because I say this all the time. These shows nowadays, for some reason, they avoid the one-on-one sit down, and the one-on-one sit down is usually some of the best TV ever. And so I don't know why they I feel like production sometimes hangs to the dear life of a group scene when I'm
Mhm.
like, no, the magic is in that one-on-one scene.
Yes.
But what pissed me off was that, as Shamia is trying to ask her a question about their friendship, it's like Portia's trying to stonewall her and not give her.
Mhm.
I don't like that. We're not paying you, and we don't want to see a show where you just gonna give nothing because you think somebody's trying to make a moment. I hate that term. I hate that
Same,
term.
same.
Yeah, it's all a moment. That's how you got here. So give us a resolution. Tell her what she did. Like, I hate that stuff. So I hope she don't give us a lot of that.
I think so though, because like Portia is another one where there's no accountability, there's no ownership. When you call her out on something, she acts like a child and she doesn't want to address it. So when Shamia said that, I was annoyed for Shamia because I'm like, we've seen this so many times before. On her
Mhm.
own spinoff, when they tried to address her, like, girl, you know that you try to physically assault your baby father's mother. And she was like, she just walked away and wouldn't talk about it. Like that is Portia's MO. Never wants to address things. And that's frustrating as a friend. Like we can't even be mature adults. Like you can tell me what I've done wrong, but I can't tell you what you've done wrong.
Perfect other example. Remember back that season when Claudia tried to have that one-on-one conversation with her and Portia started looking for some lotion, talking
Yes.
about her hands with Ash. I was like, girl, like, no, this ain't no. I would have sent her, I would have cut, cut, cut. You, you dock her to pay. Dock her pay. Because you're not gonna get away with that here. I don't want to see that.
I don't either. So I really hope that Portia has matured and is able to have adult conversation without doing this and, all of a sudden putting her lip gloss on while you're talking and being disrespectful. No, she better, I don't want to see that. It's aggravating. Portia is grown. It's like, Portia, grow up. Because Portia's always running her mouth when she's mad at you. She can tell you how she feels, but you can't say what she's done wrong. That's not fair.
No, have the conversation, work through it. That's what we want to see. We want to see conflict resolve, conflict resolve. That's it.
Yes.
That's the formula.
I'm getting like worked up already, but
So am I.
I'm right. I know. We're like both getting worked up. The show hasn't even aired yet, but Richie, when I tell you this was fabulous. I feel like we talked about everything and then some. Um, please let everybody know where they can find you. Any upcoming events, please take it away.
Okay, just follow me at DJ Richie Scott, everything across the board, Instagram, TikTok, which I'm barely on, like Snapchat, YouTube. And then we have some group trips coming up. So we are going to Thailand in March, we're going to Zanzibar in September, and Cape Town in November. So those are the things.
Oh, I love it. Oh, I might have to
Yeah.
join in. That
Yeah.
sounds fabulous. Oh
Yes.
my gosh.
So I'm
Well,
excited about that.
yes. Well, thank you again, Richie, for joining in. You guys, I hope y'all enjoyed today's conversation. I had the best time. And you guys already know to like, comment, and subscribe. And y'all already know we will see each other again soon and talk about all the mess again. But again, guys, love y'all, and I will see you all later. Bye.